And we're live. Yo, yo, yo. What up? What up? It's your boy, Heat Detector. And this is the check-in. We got my boy Jizzo. Sorry we're a little bit late, but we're here. We
What
are
up? What up?
definitely here. Jizzo's not in the building, but he's here. And of course, we got OT in the building. Hold on, let me get everything straight. Everything's straightening. Hold on, man. I don't like the way that shit's arranged. We got to change the arrangement. Yeah, the arrangement is looking, I don't know. Fuck it. We'll leave it like that for now. Who cares? I care. It's bothering me. It's bothering me though. I don't know why,
right.
but it's bothering me.
Right.
And I changed the arrangement a second ago, but
yeah, don't let it trigger you though.
Right. There we go. That's better. Yeah. So this is the check-in. I'm your boy, Heat Detective. We're back. It's like we are every Sunday. And I got my co-host Jizzo in the building. Jizzo.
What up? Peace all the way from the road. I don't know where I'm at because I'm just following GPS, but I'm somewhere far south.
By south, he doesn't mean south in the city. He's Southern Illinois. That boy going out of town. But he's here with us. We also got
can't miss the check-in.
But we also got, you already know who. Go ahead, bro. Tell him who you is.
It's OT out here. Oh.
Yeah. And this is the check-in, man. And tonight we're going to be talking about fear. You know, conquering fear or controlling fear. But before we get started with that, Jizzle, you know what to break them off with a little something.
Yeah, man. This is the disclaimer we do at the beginning of every show. For those that just watching us, we are not licensed therapists, psychologists, none of that, man. It's just a couple homies talking about things that have to do with men's mental health, and just giving y'all the real. Some shit you might want to hear, some shit you might not want to hear, but we're gonna give y'all the real. So, but
yeah,
that's what we do. That's what we do.
So if you dream of bunny rabbits, rainbows, and cotton candy, this is probably not for you. If you got thin skin, this is probably not for you. If you're a person that gets your feelings hurt, this is probably not for you. Go to another channel. Go check that shit out. Don't fuck with us. We ain't fucking with you. You know what I'm saying? If you don't like what you hear, you do not have to sit here and listen to it. Go somewhere else. Because we ain't fucking with that shit. We're doing this shit with purpose. You know what I'm talking about? But yeah. First and foremost, man, how's everybody been and everybody doing? This is the first time all three of us really been on here for a second. And I feel like I got a crazy echo. I need to fix that real quick. Is it? Am I echoing to you guys?
Yes.
No, not to me. Not to me.
Let me see what I can do about that. But how you been, Jizzo? I know you've been moving around. I ain't really seen you too much lately.
Man, I'm good, man. I'm some personal info. I am bringing back the infamous beard that I am infamously known for. So I began that process of growing that back. That should be fully completed in about 3 months. Uh, you know. But yeah, besides that, man, I just been chilling, man. I had a bunch of time to reflect, and yeah, man, I'll be back in the city soon with my peoples and everything. So I'm good, man. I'm just moving right now. I'm headed down south to go I gotta go handle something down south. So just moving around. But I couldn't miss the show, man. So I'm on this motherfucker driving 80 miles an hour on the check-in.
Yeah, that's what's up. I'm already knowing. OT, we ain't seen you in a hot ass minute.
Yeah, man. Yeah, out here in this world, putting it down and trying to do something. I picked up a little side gig, and it's been pulling me out on these Sundays. But a lot of times you see me comment, you see me in the DMs. I'm in there. I'm thinking about you. Some places they don't want us, on these electrics at all. So
He said electrics.
I'm anything that come with cameras, digital phones,
Sometimes they don't be wanting us
camcorders,
on the electrics.
all of that, covering all of that. We, showing our age a little bit, but that's what it is.
Whoa. Speak for yourself, man. That's probably one of my fears. Fears of getting old. Fears of motherfucker calling me old.
Well, I didn't say old. If you alone, if you identify with electronics,
Come
sir.
on, man. You said no, no. At my job, they don't like us on the electronics, on the electrics. We can't be on the
No, sir. No,
electrics.
sir.
Not even electronics, electrics.
Yeah, but it's good, brother. It's been good. It's been a little busy, and I got a couple more Sundays I'm gonna have to probably sacrifice a little time to. But it's part of being what to do.
Yes,
You know,
sir.
we got to get it done.
Yeah, all right. Well, I'm glad that everybody is doing their thing and moving around. I've been,
How are you doing? How are you
How
doing?
art thou? How art thou, sir?
power
How art
thou.
thou?
Then he took it way back to biblical talking. Now you're doing
Old
some
English.
real
Go
old
ahead.
shit.
Go ahead and get with it.
Um,
Send it.
now I've
Send it.
been all right. I've
Send
been dealing with I got this like since I was a kid. I had chronic migraines, and so they come every. Sometimes they come once a year, sometimes twice a year, sometimes it'll skip a year, and they just came back with a vengeance for like the last week. And sometimes it'll happen for like one day, and then it won't happen, and sometimes it'll go for like a week straight. It depends. And already it's been over a week, I think. And every night at about 1:40, 1:30 wakes me up out of my sleep. It's fucking painful. It's very debilitating. Just dealing with that and not being able to sleep. And but it's tiring, man. But it's I don't know. I've had CAT scans and shit. They can't find nothing. But you know, what
it.
are you
Okay.
gonna do? Hopefully, it's just maybe I'm allergic. I don't know if I'm allergic to something. I'm allergic to myself. I don't know what the fuck. So it is what it is. But yeah,
Like we used to say in the military, drink water and do push-ups.
say what?
Like we taught you in the military, drink water and do push-ups. It'll be
Nah,
all
see,
right.
here's the thing: the migraines are so bad that like I can't move, and it's in one eye, and it's the entire
Yep.
side of
Yes,
my
sir. Yep.
face, the back of my head, and the
Yep.
muscle right on the back of my neck. And it's like I can't move, I can't do anything. I'm nauseous. It's
Very debilitating. Yeah.
yeah,
Yes, sir.
very,
Yep.
very. No
Very
light,
debilitating. Yes, sir.
no
Yep.
sound. You know what I'm saying? Like nothing. Anything
Mm-hmm.
just exasperates the shit out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. But other than that, dealing with everyday life, man. Life is life and around this motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot going on in the world,
Woo!
in our city, and there's a lot going on everywhere. But
Man.
let's talk about fear real quick. Um, because I actually looked up the definition of fear just because I wanted to. I mean, I know we all know uh, the definition of fear or whatever, but I just wanted to look it up just for the sake, the sake of knowing exactly the definition. An unpleasant, often strong emotion caused by anticipation or awareness of danger. It's an instance of this emotion, a state of marked by this emotion, a state marked by this emotion.
Mm-hmm.
So fear, but fear can invoke a lot of shit. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? It could have you. It can be paralyzing. Fear could be paralyzing to some people.
Mm-hmm.
For
Yes.
some, so for other people, fear can be motivating. You know what I mean? I heard Mike Tyson say once before that, well, on multiple occasions, that he was afraid every fight, and it was important that he was afraid every fight to conquer his fear and to conquer uh, uh, everything about fear. It was like a motivator for
Mm-hmm.
him.
Yeah, yeah, it can be, man. I think if you use whatever skill he used or your own skill to materialize that into something productive. Because I think I might have told you but like, or I said it on the show, but there's when I first started going to sub T, Spartacus took me up there, and I had never been on that stage, and maybe only just a few stages before that, and I was terrified, bro. Like I freestyled a lot with the homies, but I never been on that stage, and I was terrified. And I remember him just pushing me up. Like Shadow Master reached the mic out, and Spartacus pushed me from behind, and I like stumbled up and grabbed the fucking mic from Shadow, and that was it. And that was like my moment. And even there's a lot of times like after that in the years after where you always have like that gut feeling. And Cat Williams was talking about it on his interview with on the Shay podcast. And Jesus Christ, I forget the guy's name, the football player's name. Um,
Shannon Sharp.
huh?
Shannon Sharp is his name.
Yeah, Shannon Sharp. And so he said, "How did you do it, Cat, when you were young and you weren't scared to get on stage?" And he's like, "I never said I wasn't scared." He's like, as a human, you're gonna be scared, but for me personally, I ended up taking at least that fear of like the stage and turning it into something that I just said one day. You know what, man? Like, you just have to kind of take that step over. I don't know. For some people, that's easier. It's easier said than done. But for me, it was just like, all right, my fear part is when I'm off the stage. If I just walk over and stand on the stage, that will go away. And I learned how to do that, and now it's just like whatever, but yeah, it's like I mean, I just kind of learned how to conquer that fear and just step into it. But it's that's with that. It's not that easy with other things.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it makes sense though, like you said, to conquer your fear. Some of it's just facing your fear. And a lot of therapies and a lot of training. Because I understand from training how to break certain wrong thinking, bad habits. But some of it just you come to something, and you got those two instincts, which is the fight or flee, and either you're gonna fight or you're gonna run. And that one you talked about earlier, that where you just don't make that move. That's that deer in the headlight. That's another reaction to a fear.
But you know what? You know what's the like? Because and he mentioned it a second ago about debilitating fear, and I was thinking to myself if I've ever had a debilitating fear because even like growing up in Chicago in the hood and we've all been through random experiences, but I've had guns pulled in my face, and like I
Yeah.
don't know, I guess I was just so cold to it that like that shit was just kind of like not normal, but like it wasn't like so shocking or oh my god, I can't believe that happened. Like yeah, I believe that happened, and like I don't know, I just learned how to like deal with it. I'm not saying I'm not scared of a gun in my face, but you kind of just learn how to deal with that shit. But but I didn't have debilitating fear there, but when I've been up in a high like heights. Not that I'm scared of heights. I'll go up on shit, but I've been in places where you're real close to the edge, and that's a debilitating fear. Like if you're climbing up a pole and get too high, you get too high on that pole, you'll get into this debilitating fear. Like it'll stop your body. You can't move. Someone's got to come get you and shit. So,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm assuming other people have that debilitating fear on a smaller level, like shit in their regular lives, walking to work, walking to school, going to the store. There's, people have all types of shit that's debilitating to them. They just can't do it, can't function in public or with people.
Right.
Hmm. Well, if you weren't afraid of a gun being in your face, it's probably manifesting that fear is probably manifesting itself in another way. You know what I'm saying? Like, because that's definitely would should be traumatic. I think. I mean, I've had guns pulled out on me, and I never forget them. I don't remember being afraid in that moment, but I'm sure that it has affected me in other ways, though. I'm sure of that. I mean, just makes sense that it would. What do you think, D Nick?
In terms of like fear in general, or
Well, yeah, fear in general, and kind of what we're talking about right now, because I was just kind of when excuse me when Jizzo said that he wasn't afraid of the gun, and then I immediately thought
Mhm.
of myself, like had been in probably all of us in that situation before, and maybe you weren't afraid at that moment, but I know that those things manifest themselves. That fear, or whatever, manifests itself in other ways.
I mean, in the moment, it's fight,
Fight,
flight,
fight,
or
right?
fawn. That those type of
Mm-hmm.
get downs. I'm
Mm-hmm.
I just practice walking in discomfort personally. Like I practice. That's a practice of mine because I just want to learn how to develop through it. Like I have fear every time I get get on stage. I have every time fear every time, like, all right, about to start this group counseling session. Here we go. Never know what what can happen, what comes up, who try to challenge me, all of that type of stuff. It's I treat fear like problems, like they're they're opportunities. You know what I'm saying? So just like with being on stage, it's like, okay, you fear because you care about it. That's what the fear comes with. Like, I kind of look at people twist when they get up on stage and they don't have no fear. I'm like, you really don't give a damn about this, huh? Like, that's
Right.
like my judgment to it. My preconceived judgment or my biased judgment, right? Um, Even I'm really good in the crisis. Sometimes I hate being good in the crisis because
Facts.
everybody puts me in a crisis,
Mm-hmm.
because, like, man, he's good in the crisis. But like you said, to your point, man, I remember my baby niece was having a seizure. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never gave CPR to nobody, and I had to do this to a baby. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and it's, but I'm in it.
Right,
I'm there. I'm like, yo, ain't time to panic. I can panic later. You know what I'm
right,
saying? And I did panic later,
Mhm.
like after
right.
all of that type of stuff. I'm like, what the fuck did I just do? I crying, all of that shit. You know what I'm saying? But in the moment, I'm cool. Like, I'm focused. Like, this is a problem that I gotta solve. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I don't. It's fight, flight, or fawn. So I'm always working in discomfort. You know what I'm saying? Always. That's just my get down. Not to say that I'm like no tough guy or anything. I'm just a problem solver and all of that stuff. I get what Jizzo was talking about. Like, and I don't know. I've been like that since I was a little boy. I took one before. I took one when I was a kid. I wasn't even in double digits. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? When I
right.
took one, so
Mhm.
it just, yeah. Like, it's
I wasn't like saying that he wasn't afraid or anything like that because you knit
no.
you
I got you. I got the
yeah, no,
context.
but I'm saying like you really hit it the nail on the head because even in those situations after the fact, it's like after it's all said and done, and like myself included with your thought is that once everything's said and done, and like I'm left alone, when I'm left alone with my thoughts, then I'm just kind of like, what the fuck just happened, and you know what I mean. But I've always
Mhm.
been that same way too, like in a crisis situation. I don't know if that the military taught me that or whatever, but it's like I can see everybody else panicking, and I'm just like calm as a fucking I don't know what. You know what I mean? It's like, all right, everybody back up, take a breath, take it easy, deal with it, and just kind of deal with it in the moment. But after the fact, yeah, it does affect a motherfucker like after the fact. One of
I had it was a shorty that was, was really upset about the situation, and I'm trying to counsel him through it. And brother told me, he was like, "No, Miss D, nigga," because they make him say Mister. I don't really do the Mister stuff. No, Mister D, I'm match energy. I'm mad you gonna come at me like this. I'm like, why would you match energy? Why
right,
is that a thing? But I've heard adults say that too. I'm like, why? And I was telling him, I was like, why are you on? Do you think that's a good idea? Well,
right,
who told you that? Who told you that if they got the? Why would you want to match their energy? Why don't you counter their energy? Why don't you practice countering their energy? Like,
mm,
don't match them with savage energy. You got to do warrior energy, and
Mhm.
so go
Mhm.
you go through that, and that's the thing, man. That's the thing with fear and all of that stuff.
I had well, it took me a long time to realize it because if we're like especially like entertainment. Um, Growing up, I like my mom hated rap music. My mom hated everything about it. She hated
Smart
breakdance.
woman, real smart
Yeah, I
woman.
know, right? But I know she hated everything about it, right?
I feel
And
her. I
and
love her already. God bless her.
yeah, but you don't want to know what the shit she would say, but it was
No,
pretty.
she was probably, whatever. But
Yeah,
she got one. She got one.
yeah. But the thing is, I think that later on down the line, I had this fear, this huge fear of succeeding. You know what I'm saying? Like of success. Like it was crazy. And then what it did, and with having that fear, what it did is I would self destruct. I'd get where I needed to be, or I felt I needed to be, and then I would just like self destruct. And my excuse that I would always say to myself was, "Well, at least they can say I never did it." You know what I mean? And it's like, oh, what I succeeded. What are you talking about? I did it. What are you talking about? Because I didn't fail. So that fear of succeeding, or fear of failure, I guess. Not sure which one it is, but my excuse was always like, well, I did it. You know, even though I self destructed, I would fucking get myself out of it as soon as I did it. Not immediately, but yeah. And
It,
that used to be a huge roadblock for me.
a
Don't
fear of
know why.
succeeding, a fear of
Yeah,
artistically succeeding.
yeah.
Mm.
I think, what do they call it? Imposter syndrome or something like that.
Nah, not specifically. Imposter syndrome. And I learned about this on the road. Like this kid was having a whole thing. We were in Texas, and this kid was, shout out to Peace King. He was having this whole thing, and and he kind of schooled me on that. Imposter syndrome is basically feeling like you're you're not meant to be here. That might be. I don't know if that's quite what
Yeah.
you said. It's like you're not meant to be. You're not deserving. That's what
Right.
you're not deserving
Yeah.
of. Being like in this environment.
Right.
It was.
That's
And this
exactly it.
kid. Yeah, that's imposter syndrome. I didn't know what that was. I was like, he's like, man, I'm feeling like I'm having imposter syndrome. There's all these nerdcore like legends around me, and I'm like, dude, you made it. You're on this festival. You belong. You deserve to be here. You deserve to be here. But yeah, I was like, man, that's what that's called, huh? It's like, but I've experienced that before. I've experienced that before. I didn't know that's what it was called. But I've definitely experienced that.
Yeah. I have I don't know that I've completely conquered it. You know what I mean? I know that what my mindset is now, because I even did that when I got here to Chicago. I got to a certain level, then I just kind of like, just kind of fucked it all off. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Um, but like where my mindset is now is not nowhere even close to that shit anymore. But I recognize that shit. But fear is a motherfucker, man. Fear is a motherfucker, and I believe, wouldn't that imposter syndrome, that would fall under some fear? I believe, yeah, something like that. I mean, fear comes in so many different fucking shapes and
Yeah,
forms and shit.
yeah.
You know,
I maybe I'm I, I think that could come in fear, come in the form of fear. I think that more comes in self doubt and self loathing, more so, stronger than that. Like
probably,
it's
yeah,
more about that.
yeah. Well, fear's up in there somewhere.
No, fear is definitely in there, but not but period new sentence. I think it's a little bit. I guess the type of fear, like I guess you can put that in there, like that. Yeah, it's a part of it. I think like the whole imposter syndrome kind of trumps that. You know.
Right. Um. So I was
So with
also
that, but the question for me would be, oh, go ahead, yeah. Go ahead, Heat.
no. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, yeah. Please, yeah.
No, I was
Oh,
I
just,
mean, OT. I'm
I
sorry,
was just
OT.
go ahead. You got this,
No, no. I
yeah,
was.
yeah.
I
No, I mean, I was
wasn't
just trying
trying.
to
Mm-hmm.
figure out how that is it one or action or reaction to something that happens. Is that so? You some people don't know to be scared. I mean, let me give you I won't say a cliche, but it used to be you you walk in the direction somebody on the sidewalk, and because they've heard something on TV, you're bad. That's a bad person. It's not a good person. You go out their
Mm-hmm.
way. But if you don't know that, that same person, without being told that that's a bad person, would go without doesn't have no fear. So it has to be, I guess, a primal fear that would really change your life if something happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you're talking about
You
being
kind of get
black
what I
and
mean?
white, are you talking
Yeah,
about?
I kind of get
Hey,
you.
hey,
So
hey,
you
hey,
talking
hey,
about is it a
that
reaction
don't
to
make a
yeah?
difference now. Yeah.
It doesn't make a difference. Oh,
You
It
say that
doesn't make a
again,
difference.
OT?
It's the fear is what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking to
Yeah.
the fear.
Okay. Does the
Either
fear make?
you could be there's a natural fear of something that
Mm-hmm.
you don't know, the fear of unknown,
Yeah. Yeah.
but then the other fear that somebody's taught to you, some hate speech, some just all kind of stuff. Nowadays they got a little bit of everything going on. So those fears have manifested in your head. That's something scary. That's something bad. So now there, I don't think it's the same difference with a gun. Because a gun,
Yeah.
if you never seen a gun fire, you never seen nobody got shot with it. When you first see a gun, it's like, oh, okay. See what I'm saying?
Yeah. I get what you're saying. Nah. Yeah. I actually I agree. I agree. I agree.
hmm,
They are very different. Cause in part, like yeah, some seed was planted to make you feel like you don't deserve this or
This
you don't belong here or something like that. Whereas like a situation of like there's a gun pulled on you and you're just that's a like oh snap
oh,
that's there's shock and fear and all of the yeah
hmm,
like that it's all fears all outside stimuli a lot of
right.
times or self-imposed you
Self-imposed.
know
That's what I was just gonna say. Like a
yeah
fear
right,
of change.
right.
There's. I don't know how deep it is. Like for drug addicts, I know my mom was a drug addict for a lot of years, and I know that the fear of getting off the drugs was a big thing, which I never could really understand or grasp. You know what I mean? Because to me, it's like, but if it's fucking you up like that, and it's fucking your body up, it's fucking everything up. You look fucked up. You know what I mean? Like you would think like you would want to change that. But then again, I was drinking like a motherfucker. And everybody around me was telling me, and I was just like, yo, whatever, man, fuck off.
You would love it apart.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know, like, but I didn't have a fear of quitting though. I didn't have a fear of quitting drinking. I know that. Maybe I did. I don't know. I don't now. I mean, obviously, but at the time, I don't think I did, or maybe I did. Maybe I just didn't want to deal. That's part of this mental shit. And maybe I just didn't want to
yeah
deal with the things that I was subconsciously masking or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
yeah it I mean, I can't speak for you on that, but it's more than likely it was
Right.
a fear, because there's comfort in the known, whether it's bad or not. Like there's a comfort, there's a fear of the unknown.
Right.
Like there's a crazy, like
Right.
man, like when you look at the statistics of all of the people who were abused that run back to their abusers, you know what I'm saying? They not just crazy dummies, they're just doing that. It's unknown because it's no different than if you've been eating bad all your life and then you eat something healthy and like it shocks your system and so your system is like, oh, this is what you're supposed to be eating and everything that you don't put in your body is garbage. And you'll hear people like, I can't eat no vegetables because I get sick every time I eat vegetables. Nah, your body just got shocked because it finally ate something you were supposed to be eating. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so like it just was aware of all of the BS you've been putting in your system before. You know what I'm saying? And that's the same thing with human interaction and fear and all of the
Right.
stuff that
Right.
comes
See?
with the failure.
Hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Fuck. I mean, fear is a motherfucker, man. That's what it is, man. It's just and you could like I went with my sister. She was feeding the homeless at one of these shelters, And you could see like the people were afraid to even come up to get something to eat. They were hungry as shit, but they were still
Yes.
afraid to come up and get something to eat. She had clothes there, baby clothes, jackets for women. It was cold as fuck outside, and people were afraid to, there was a lot of immigrants there too, and Chicago and shit. But people were literally afraid. There were other people that came up and was like, "Shit, give me another bowl." You know what I mean? How many jackets can I take? And then there were other people that were just like, they wanted to, and they were like really apprehensive and really, you know what I mean? You could see fear in their eyes, and I don't know what that fear was. You know, in my mind, it's like,
I
what,
can
what,
tell you one
what,
of the
what
things that
go ahead.
I can tell you one of the things that they fear is that some of those feedings, there are predators and wolves around there, and some of them are legal. There's the immigration people hanging around amongst them, so they lure them in with the honey. So there's a reason why, and then there's violence in those things, because I spent a lot of time doing those, brothers. That's one of the things. I'm kind of
Yeah.
like the security in a lot of my functions. You
Mm.
know, when we feed the homeless, go to the parks, community active programs I'm involved with.
Oh, so you know what I'm
You know,
talking
yes,
about then?
baby, I
Yeah,
got that sheepdog.
Same.
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah, that's crazy. Ill for real says can't be brave without being afraid. Hmm.
All right. You know what that is? That's facing your fear, though.
Right.
Yeah.
And that within itself can be
That's how
a
you fix
task.
fear.
That could be a heavy task. And I was looking at the different ways to fight your fear, and there's these 10 ways, and I was reading these, and I was like, I don't know, man. Because I tell people sometimes when they're having issues or something, it's like, oh, you gotta train your thinking, you gotta redirect your thinking. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Think of some
Right.
happy place or whatever. And I remember when that was being told to me at one point in my life, going through therapy. They're like, yo, you got to redirect your thinking and then start thinking of a happy place. And I thought to myself, what the fuck are they talking about? Go to a happy place, like, no, for real,
Unicorns, rainbows,
yeah, no, I couldn't. I couldn't envision.
cotton
Maybe,
candy.
maybe it's because I just took it wrong at that point. At that point in time in my life, where I took it like, there's no such thing as how am I? Like in my mind, I was like, how in the fuck am I supposed to go to a happy place? Like, and
What is a
the
happy
examples
place?
that they were giving me didn't make any sense. Think of a sunset and the mountains, and that ain't no happy place. Like, what the fuck? In my mind at the time, you know what I mean. And so now when I tell somebody to redirect their thinking, it's just like it does. I don't think it necessarily has to be a fucking mountain or sunset. Maybe that's what they think of as a happy place. You know
Man,
what? What? D Nick?
I have context matters, dude. Like when people in like therapeutic counseling spaces say stuff like that, and I'm speaking from experience. We just had a show at a health and wellness thing yesterday. We was doing this whole health and wellness thing, and we were one of the performing acts. Shout out to Ray Light and Skylight Body Therapy because my brother Ray was speaking at it.
Ooh.
And it was really dope because nobody, like the dude who was the doctor, Dr. Shannon Tate was speaking about qigong and the meditative like attributes and acupuncture and all of this stuff, and he kept it really direct. What people in these spaces tend to do, they kind of allude to like naturalistic stuff, but they don't go in. So when people are like, oh, think of the ocean and the mountain, like there's a scientific reason like that you get more of that stuff. You get more centered around these oceans and all of this type. But when you just say it, when you
Yeah.
just say it and you don't get no context to what that means, like that shit is real, it's true, but they say it in such weirdo, like
Right.
flowery, artsy fartsy ways, like it just make everybody think that all like the counselors and the clinics and the clinicians and the therapists are all just weirdos that be doing like
Yeah.
weird like type
Yeah.
Whoa,
of
So I
whoa,
like
all
wasn't
right,
crazy in
D.
thinking that. So
You all
I
right?
wasn't crazy thinking that shit. Because I know
I
I
mean,
was looking at that
what
motherfucker
they
like,
said was
the
true.
fuck?
You all right, D?
What you say, OT?
Are you okay, brother? You need a hug. You
Yeah,
mad?
I'm
man.
good, man, because people do that. People do that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why I be so tight when like because I don't romanticize nothing because I'm trying to get the actual factuals. Like I'm
Right.
always joking, be doing the hashtag like hip hop stinks. You know what I'm saying and all that stuff. Because I'm trying to make us. I don't want to be the smartest dummy in the room, and
Right.
a lot of our comrades are just smart dummies. And you know
Right.
what I'm saying? And a lot of these
Smart.
people, and then because they take this stuff out of context, there's a reason why they say, why it's long, like why long walks on the beach have a calming like thing. You're talking about sand, and sand is like, got a bunch of crystals in it that centers you. And I'm not like a metaphysician that understands crystallization and that type of. I'm not that type of person, but I'm comprehensive of it. You know what I'm saying? But it's never explained directly. It's
Right.
always explained in this real fruity artsy fartsy type language that like people that probably really need this shit never can comprehend. Not that they slow or stupid, but they're just not. They haven't developed that level of sensitivity yet to be able to you know be emotional, to be like revealing, to understand about environment and how this affects the chakras and affects your liver and all of this type of stuff. They don't you don't know that, you know what I'm saying? When
Right.
they explain it just general, like think of mountains and ocean and with no context. No
Well,
context
hey,
about this. It's just like, man,
I can
that
tell you
stuff
firsthand.
pisses me
I was
off.
looking at that motherfucker like they had lost their fucking mind. I was like, yo, like in my mind, I'm thinking, the fuck? Mountains? Sunset? Like how in the fuck in my like for real? I was like, how in the fuck is that supposed to calm me down? How in the fuck is that gonna redirect my thinking? You know what I'm
I'll
saying?
give you. I'll give you an example. I'll
No,
give you
no,
an
no.
example.
Real
No,
quick though.
but this is an important example.
Right.
When you go to the movie theater, they don't cut the lights off. They fade
Fade them
the
out.
light.
Right.
That is calming you down to watch the movie.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's
Right.
when they think of sunset. Think of the light calming you down. The
Uh,
light is dimming. Think of that calming you down. Or probably a more accurate type of example, because we live in the hells of North America. When you go to a movie theater, there's light, looking for your seat. It's not that bright, but it's still light. And when the trailers go, there's three levels of dimming. There's the dimming for the trailers, and then when the movie's about to start, it dims again. Like, oh, shut the fuck up, gotta be quiet, gotta relax, gotta
right.
watch the movie. You know what I'm saying? Same thing when you go, like that's what it is. When you
Right.
think about sunsets and all, that's what they when you think about
Sounds
calming
like
it down.
Yeah. I mean, I get it
Am I
now.
talking crazy? Am I
No, 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 no,
talking?
no. No,
no.
no. I get the
It's
shit
called
now. I'm just
conditioning,
saying
y'all.
at
It's
that particular time, I was like, this motherfucker must be out of their mind. But look, my point that I was going to make is that when figuring the shit out, because when I walked away from that shit, I was just like, mountain sunset. That shit don't make
That's why I'm like triggered by it because you walked
right.
away from it. You
Yeah.
walked away from it, and
But what
that
I did
prolonged
take
your
something out of it.
progress.
I did take something out of it though. Because in my mind, I said, well, maybe that's what makes that bitch happy because that shit don't make me happy. You know what I'm saying? So my
Nah,
mind, no, wait, listen, hear me out though.
I'm hearing you. I'm just
Okay,
like
so I'm
I'm
telling you,
listening.
man, this is a very long time ago. This is over 20 some years ago.
yeah.
So when I walk out of that shit, I'm just like, I don't give a fuck, man. That bitch must be crazy, whatever, whatever. I'm gonna think about what makes me fucking happy. And really, that's what it's all about. If I'm going to a happy place, to me, just let me finish, D nigga. I know you over
No,
there
I'm,
bubbling.
I'm, I'm letting you cook. I'm just
Yeah,
annoyed by that situation.
yeah.
Someone
So to
picking
me,
your
when I
station.
walked out of there, I was like, man, I ain't gonna think about no sunset shit. That shit don't make me happy. I'm gonna think about music. I'm gonna think about making music. I'm gonna think about me behind a drum machine or whatever in the fuck. You know what I'm saying? Or at the time I had turntables and shit, I would be thinking about me scratching and doing shit, making mixes and stuff like that. That redirected my thinking and redirected me whenever I would get upset or whatever. Is what I would use in that regard. I get it nowadays what the lady was saying, but she didn't put it in any context to it. You know what I'm saying?
And even like, oh, making music, that's a redirection of energy, but that's not calming you down.
Right.
That's not putting you in a place of calming you down. That's
Right.
just redirecting.
Talking
Like,
about
"Nah, I'm up here and I'm all this. Let me just get to doing at least doing something productive. That's you being productive with the energy, but that's not calming you down. You know what I'm
gotcha.
saying? That's that, and it's not your fault. I'm not saying that to you. I'm just
No, no, no.
like,
I'm listening.
it's a trigger to me because I'll be like, man, these motherfuckers be saying like wild shit in these fucking sessions and all of this type of shit. I mean, y'all tell me, like, OT, just am I tripping? Am I tripping?
No.
Because that's mad misinformation. That's
Right.
that's worse than a Dr. Cologne like explanation. That's like some crazy information.
Every
Like,
chance you get, boy,
Well,
you drop kick that man in the face
well,
every chance you get.
let me let me put a spin on it for you guys. So some of this what we talk about from a guy who's been in the system a while. Uh, there's a
yeah.
lot of conditioning going on that's creating certain things. One of the things, just so we say about fear, it's a tool. It's just something that happens, that reacts to something. We use it in the military as a wonderful teaching tool.
Mm,
Okay, so it could be some positive to a fear, but there's some other negatives to it also. You tell your kid don't put your hand in the fire because it's hot. So because the kid don't know to be afraid of it, so you tell it
hmm.
that will burn you. So you start conditioning them with that.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it. But again, I say fear is a. I think it's a good thing. I'm going to say it's a positive thing. I've used it more than one time. It may be a negative thing for some people, but for me and for my background in military, a fear is a tool.
Hmm.
I agree with you, OT. I'll probably refine it a little bit, like, different. You tell me how you feel about it. Fear is
Please,
energy. Fear
please,
is
yes, sir.
energy. You
Please.
know what I'm saying? And
Yep.
like,
Okay.
you can
Okay.
use it constructively or deconstructively, but it just is. Fear just is, and it's an energy. No different from anger. Anger is energy. It's neither good nor bad. It's the energy.
Energy.
You can have
Right.
savage energy or warrior energy. And
Mm-hmm.
like the constant
Right.
organization that I'm with, we define savage energy as out of control, selfish, self-serving, and embarrassing. We can find warrior energy as, in control and service of others, building, like, and and so on. Like, fear is the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Fear is an
Mm-hmm.
energy, and it, like you said, you can use it. It can be used as a tool, like OT like eloquently put it, and all of that type of, it could be, it's in service of others. Same thing as anger. It's because it's the energy. All of that shit is an energy. You know what I'm saying? And if fear is out of control, you want to be in control. So in control, like the same thing. And if you're out of control with your fear, that's when your fear ain't even a fear no more. That's when it becomes a phobia. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And you're out of
Right.
control. You're
Right.
in service of yourself. Like, it can be embarrassing. All of the things, it's the same thing as like anger. It's all energy.
Okay.
I agree.
Hmm. But for those, there are some out there that shit can be. Well, then I guess you answered that because for some people that fear can be very debilitating. It could freeze them
Yes.
completely in that
Yeah,
moment or in the spot.
that would be like, if I'm equating it to the whole energy chart that we are all with anger, like that I have to go through with anger. You know what I'm saying? It would be like a
Mm-hmm.
savage fear. It's out of control, or more so, it becomes a phobia.
Hmm.
Like, more clinically
Mm-hmm.
accurate, a out of control fear, and that's irrational. That's a phobia. It becomes a phobia. You know.
Phobia. Okay.
Do you think?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? and this is for both of you. Uh, what do you think fear plays? What part do you think fear plays in mental health, like good or bad?
I mean, I just said my piece, but
So I can
OT,
start. Okay,
yeah.
go ahead, D.
Oh, just like so, what role does fear play in mental health? I just want to make sure I
Right.
get the
Yeah,
question
yeah.
right. In terms of getting help for mental health, or just your own
Just in
mental health.
general, just like a kind of a blanket uh, statement, if you will.
Yeah, I'm not really like supposed to like just do blanket statements.
Hmm.
Like if I'm speaking professionally, like as a counselor, I'm not, supposed to do that. I'm supposed to help a client
Well, okay. Well,
identify.
then that was a bad
Yeah,
choice of words for me. Then,
yeah.
um, I
No,
mean,
no, it's cool. It's just I'm, explaining the process that I have to go through in
yeah. Do
discerning.
your
It's not
thing. Do your thing. Do your thing.
Yeah, no, no, yeah, like
Mm-hmm.
so if we're talking about fear, like we have to me and the client, or in my case, clients, because I'm always in a group counseling session, we have to identify
Mm-hmm.
what 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 is the thing. You know what I'm saying? So we talking about like the fear.
What we
What is your
dealing with?
fear of
Right.
this? Then we have to identify, and so it's like a journey and a search to identify what that is. So if it's like a phobia, you know what I'm saying, and like where it's irrational and it's out of control and all of that stuff, then that's negative. If you're just having second thoughts about like a more strong warrior fear, like I'm censored, but I'm afraid of this. I'm afraid, like how like Gizzo was saying, like he gets uncomfortable. That's a fear. He gets nervous or scared, but like when it's about to go, I always do, but when you hit that stage and it's like, okay, fight or flight, and it's time to fight, it's time, you know what
Right.
I'm saying, it's time to go,
Mm-hmm.
that's what it
Right.
is.
That's it. Go time. Yep.
Yeah,
Right.
so like it's big. So okay, I know how to answer your question. Thank you. It's big. It's a big component, and it's like for me, it's about finding what is it and how do we address that then. And it's not me telling you. I don't tell
Mm-hmm.
none of the clients, yo, this is what it is. I'm helping you figure
You
it out and
describe it.
guiding you on it, and you
Right.
have to self-identify what this is and how this will help you, and then what type of help do you require. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Because
that's
I
that's
ain't no I ain't
actually
no expert. You know what I'm saying? I'm just
Mhm.
trained in
But you did
guidance.
it very eloquently. Sir. Very good. Very good.
And
yep.
OT, you might have more experience than me in this capacity, especially being a soldier. What say you, brother?
So a lot of mine is what we talked about earlier. Is trained
Mm-hmm.
response to, even
Mm-hmm.
through our soldier process, we teach them that fear keeps you alive because it's an emotion. It gets adrenal glands flowing. You
Yep.
get up to your operating temperature. That's why some
Yep.
people get in stressful situations and they work better because now they're where their placement is low. Came on like Clay explained earlier, you get up to that thing, you're ready to handle business. Afterwards, you decompress, you go back and you got to figure out what happened. But you're going to fall back on your least amount of training. That's why soldiers, you in a room full of people and you holler attention, half of them will jump up because they've been trained by the military. So there's a conditioned reflex.
Right.
Keep going.
Uh,
I'll be babbling all day.
well, I was looking when I looked up fear this afternoon. There was a thing that says 10 ways to fight your fear. Um, and I'll just read off what it says real quick, and then kind of skim over this. But whatever it is that scares you, there are 10 ways to help you cope with day-to-day fears and anxieties. These tips are For people who are coping with everyday fears, if you have been diagnosed with anxiety-related conditions, see your doctor, whatever the fuck. But yeah, number one was take time out. Uh, Number two was breathe through panic. Three was face your fears. Four was imagine the worst.
There it is.
Look at the
Mm-hmm.
evidence is number five, which is what D-Nick was talking about as far as identifying it.
Right.
Don't try to be perfect. Huh. Visualize a happy place. The fucking mountains in the fucking sun and setting.
But he did get
Uh,
it.
that shit really bothered me after the fact. You know what I mean? Like, why would you tell me that? But anyways, without and then now listening to you, like, but yeah, she did fucking say it without any fucking context whatsoever. Talk about it. Uh, Go back to basics, which is a lot of people turn to alcohol or drugs to self-treat anxiety. But this will only make matters worse. Simple everyday things like a good
Right.
night's sleep, a wholesome meal, and a walk are often the
Yep.
best cures for
Right.
anxiety. Well, I done fucked up about five of them already. So, oh shit, I haven't had a good night's sleep in I don't know how long. Wholesome meal. Sheesh, I wish. Take a walk. Man, anybody going out? I ain't going outside. See my neighborhood? I ain't walking nowhere
Yeah.
around here. I drive to go across the street. Joke. Go back to basics. That was the one, and then reward yourself. Oh, her name always gets me. Shy City Sheba says, when I suffered through arachnophobia, it was more anxiety. I hated that came with it, heart palpitations and thinking I was gonna faint. Once I walked into all of it and kept doing it, it slowed. Well, I had a rough time reading that.
Mhm.
She says also too.
Face it.
She said exactly. I walked right into the worry and convinced myself nothing was going to happen. Yeah, I think like when we talked about earlier when we talked about these crisis situations or whatever, that's part of it. Like for me, whenever there's been a situation, like I remember one time we were driving and we saw this accident and this car like flipped over and there was like two old ladies in the car. It was a minivan that flipped over and we were about maybe 100 feet away or something. And I immediately just hopped out the car and went over there. And I went over there, everybody was screaming and shit. And I'm like, everybody calm down. Not saying I was the only one doing that. There was another guy who came up and he was like, okay, everybody calm down. This is what we need to do. And you, what are you doing? What are we doing? And we just kind of organized everybody to get those two old ladies out of the car. And then once they were out of the car and I saw that everything was cool, I just dipped. I didn't fucking stick around and wait for handshakes and none of that shit. I just hopped in the car and left. But afterward, like everybody in the car with me was like, oh shit, that's crazy. And none of it really dawned on me until after the fact. Then it was just like, oh shit, what just happened? You know what I'm saying? Shit was pretty fucking crazy. But take time out. It's impossible to think clearly when you're flooded with fear or anxiety. The first thing to do is take a time out so you can physically calm down. Distract yourself from worry for 15 minutes by walking around the block, making a cup of tea, or having a bath. Huh. Sometimes you just ain't in the situation to do that. I'm just saying. I mean, I don't know. I mean, shit. I mean, somebody chime in or something. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. If you're at work and this shit's going on, you ain't gonna take no bath, and you're not gonna have time to make a cup of tea. I don't know if you can leave your job and walk around the block. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, there's it's situational. You know what I'm saying? Maybe walk away from the situation if you can and breathe deeply. I don't know. Think of a fucking sunset in mountains. It works for other people.
That mountain.
That works for some people.
Sandy beaches and
Yeah.
tall mountains.
No, but
Yes,
the
sir.
beach, everything he's saying is really real because when I went to Cali a couple of years ago, it was the first time I had been in a really, really long time. And I know it was a really stressful situation we're in, and we ended up going to the beach. We were in San Francisco. I forget
Mhm.
what beach it was. It was nice out, and the day was kind of already fucked up. But just taking the shoes off and just walking around on the beach with the water and the sand and everything was just like, huh, it's gonna be all right. You know what I'm saying?
So then you get the thing. That's why D was saying, I believe earlier, when if you never walked on the beach, you know all your life you spent this concrete, you don't even know what that is. So you don't have no connection to it. But as soon as you do it, now you understand. Oh, this is what they've been talking about. This is this
Nah,
peace
I
that you
mean,
find.
look, man,
Uh,
this was like
Go ahead.
damn near 30 years ago. So my mindset wasn't ever thinking about no goddamn mountains or no sunset. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
it wasn't. It
Right.
wasn't.
You
I
know what I'm
get
saying?
you. Like you know, do you know the people like those people that are really into crystals? Like the
Yeah.
people that are really into crystals. Those type of
Yeah,
people.
yeah, yeah,
If
yeah.
you take a hammer and you break and you just bam the crystal, one you'll see flash the light because those crystals are energy, but also like sand is nothing but those crystals like really broken up in finite particles. So when you walk on the
Mhm.
beach and walk on like sand like that, you're literally walking on the particles of those crystals.
Right.
So we may not be like the, because some people like look at the brothers and sisters that's into the crystals and be like, man, them motherfuckers weird. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, and all that stuff. But anybody that love going to the beach, you one of them weirdo crystal motherfuckers too, because you walking on the sand and stuff.
Right.
Like all of that is a part of it. You
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? But everybody be, I don't know if that's just to sell it better, because I don't speak really sexy about any of this stuff. I don't talk real. I don't talk
Whoa.
nice about artsy fartsy stuff. I don't like. I'm very direct. I'm always disciplined over inspiration, like all
Right.
the time, and I'm always like, what is the actual factuals? Cause man, like people have boundaries and they like are uncomfortable, like, because weirdo shit be trying to do weirdo people try to do shit to you, you know what I'm saying? And
Right.
so it's like, so
Right. There you
people
go.
got they
Tell it.
like,
Speak on it.
yeah, yeah, people be having, so people like the anxiety for people to go get help isn't because they crazy. They're not out of pocket for not wanting to get help. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
They're like, man, I wanna go to no like therapist. I mean, now it's kind of cliche and it's cliche and it's like in the end thing to do to get help and all of that stuff, which I guess is cool, but even that can be weaponized. You know what I'm saying? But the reason people used to be a little bit more hesitant was because, man, that shit like you be scared that someone is going to do something strange to you. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Put you on some weirdo type of stuff because there's a lot of weirdos
Man.
out here. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You put it that
like
way.
there's no with no context. It's like, man, I need to
Yeah.
know. I need to know the context of some stuff. Like, man, I'm like, I ain't honoring no old rapper, no old DJ, or none of that stuff, man. What's the exchange for this? You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Because if I just listen to you, you might be just some old school pedophile, like like one of them Zulu cats.
Speak on
You
it.
know what I'm saying?
Speak.
Like,
Speak. Speak.
man, I just nah, dude. I hate that in like these institutions and stuff because they lead
Mm-hmm.
people astray. They turn people off from getting the help they actually need by
Right.
being weirdos.
Need.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
Yeah.
the crazy thing
By
about
la-
that
by
that whole
labeling weirdos. Yeah. Weirdos is labeled on weirdos, and they redirected it actually energy. That's true. Yeah.
yeah,
there. I mean, there's a lot of truth in what she said, but like D Nick said, there was no context, and at the time, there was that shit was far from my mind. But now, like even nowadays, when I think about it, because I grew up like at a very young age on reservations and shit, and so like when we would go camping, we weren't like out there like in a mobile home or no shit like that. We were like out there, like surviving off the land, eating off the land, and everything like that. When I was a young child, I learned how to fucking make fire and hunt and do all this other shit because they were teaching us, indigenous skills and shit. and somewhere in there was teaching us some other shit. But when I think about those times now, and I remember distinctly remember looking like over the lake and everything and seeing all the mountains and it looking like a painting or something, as far as I can remember it. And and being as a kid, like 5 or 6 years old, being let loose in the goddamn mountains to be able to roam free and go fishing and doing all that other shit. That was a real happy moment and a happy space. You know what I'm saying? But at that particular time when that lady was talking about that shit, I wasn't thinking about none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? I think about it now. Like sometimes if I, you know, get pissed off or whatever, I'll think about that. The little heat out there in the mountains, shit, running free and staring at the mountains and the lake and everything. You know, that's calming. But at that particular time,
See,
yeah. No, I get what he's saying.
but if you was out there homeless, it wouldn't.
Shit, the 20-year-old he wasn't thinking about none of
Yeah.
that shit. Mountain, bitches, you crazy? You know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't thinking about none of that shit. But again, it wasn't given to me. There was no context given to me either. And I'm sitting there in therapy thinking like, do you realize when I walk out this door, like, you know what I'm saying, the shit I gotta face and the things I ain't. Who's got time to think about a sunset? Who's got time to think about a mountain? You know what I'm saying? I'm over here trying to think about saving my own damn life right now. But again, fear. What you shaking
Yeah.
your head at, D Nick?
No, I'm just hearing the lack of context. It just blows me, man. Like, man,
Yeah.
cause man, I was advocating for a young man. I was advocating for this dude. He's, I do group with him, obviously, but I do one on one. And man, this poor kid, he's real good kid. This poor kid beat this is last year. He beat this other kid to a pulp. He's really, really big. He's really, really big, and he just beat this other kid to a pulp, and he's super embarrassed. He made amends with the dude, all is forgiven, but like if he getting one more problem, he's gonna be out of there. They're gonna, and he had a whole bunch of issues with all of that, so he's not trying to do that, and so like a lot of kids, some kids are like sociopaths. You know what I'm saying? So they like,
Hmm.
oh, we're gonna
Mm-hmm.
pick at him, and if he cold cocks us and knocks us out, he's gone. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So he is like,
Right.
he has trouble controlling his anger, so he walks out of the class and walks out of the school. And they're like really, they're all like his mom's up there, and they're all of this, and his home life ain't the greatest. And I'm like, I'm the only person there advocating for him and all of this stuff. And he talks to me and he tells me, he's like, yo, is this, you know, like I'm like, why'd you walk out of class? And he tells me, he's like, yo, man, I don't want to beat this person up. And, like, because don't deserve that. And I'm stronger than him. But I walk out because I don't know what to do with my anger. I can't control it. So I just walked out. So I didn't do anything. So I'm like, okay, you did the right thing. Because couldn't nobody hold him back last time anyway. The security couldn't. He was
Right.
tossing them off like, like nothing. So, and so
Tossing
I'm,
into yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
so
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
telling the principal and the social worker and everybody, I'm like, listen. And he gave me permission to speak for him. I was like, I need permission from you that it's okay to tell your story. And he was like, yeah. I'm like, and I'm talking to him, I was like, look, and I used their language. I was like, look, he was getting bullied, and he didn't, and they're like, he's big as I don't know what, how is he
Right.
getting
Right.
bullied?
Right.
And I have to explain to these women that just because he's bigger and stronger doesn't mean that he can't be bullied. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like all a sociopath got to do. Oh, to get him out of here, all I got to do is take a punch in the face. My face will heal, and then he's gone out of the
Right.
school for forever. And I'm trying to explain to them the different
Mm-hmm.
levels of bullying and why he walked out of class. I'm like, yo, kicking him out might not be the best thing, y'all. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
He actually did the right thing. He just didn't do it in the right way. So let's, figure something out for the dude, and I get him back into the meeting, and they're like, kind of, they're a little bit more calmer, and it's, and they're like, why are you, I'm like, I'm his counselor. He'd only feel comfortable with me. All of this type of stuff, and that's why understanding is so important to me, and like, because it just things get topsy turvy. Like, God forbid, I would have been on the road doing music or something. Like that kid would have got kicked out of school. I'd have came back to work, and he's just not there because
Right.
they just put him out. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
I don't want like
Yeah.
his existence to be codependent on me. And but it's like, man, these things happen when we don't give the people. It's a lot of pressure on us and people that are in there, but I see why the pressure's on us because these people be telling y'all fucking wrong. Like, you know
Right.
what I'm saying? Or not telling you wrong, but
Right.
not giving you the proper context of how to lay this stuff
The right
out. And so
information.
that gets under my skin. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I get it.
Right.
Talking
Real.
about sunsets and shit got under my skin. So yeah.
And
I don't
that's
know if
not
you.
that's not bad
There you
advice.
go.
No, it's not bad
There
advice.
you go.
But I'm just
There
saying, at
you
that
go.
particular moment in
I
my
gotta bring
life,
the
at that
knife hand
moment,
out on you.
huh?
I gotta bring the knife hand on you. You like it with that.
Hey, man, I was in a man 20 some years ago. Motherfucker couldn't tell me nothing. So I mean, to me, I like,
Did you go to the movie 20 years ago?
hmm,
Did you go to movies 20 years ago?
mm-hmm.
All right. And you calm down when you get in that motherfucking movie theater.
I was listen,
But that's
man.
what I'm saying. You had the brain capacity to
No, it's
comprehend
not like I.
that stuff. I'm
The
not
thing.
talking about you though, Heat. I'm talking about the instruction of it. That shit
Oh
just
yeah,
Right.
yeah, 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 yeah.
that shit sends me off. Like I'm
Right,
saying you clearly had the brain capacity to comprehend
right,
like how like the light and the energy
right.
like goes and what's the importance of the
I
sunset.
understood what she was saying, but the way that it was given to me and presented to me at that
It's just
particular
fucked
time,
up.
yeah,
That's just fucked up.
yeah, and when the way it was presented to me, it just made me look at her like, "Are you fucking out of your mind? Like, who in the fuck is gonna be thinking, like, if I'm pissed off, like, I'm really gonna go, oh, sunset, you know what I mean? Like, what? You know what I'm saying? I don't even know. I did. I mean, shit. I didn't have. I had zero tools about anything other than fight or flight. No, not even flight. It was always just fight. You know what I'm saying? So taking the time to have that thought in a situation where I felt fear or anxiety or whatever, man. Nah, man, it's take action. Fuck that shit. I ain't thinking about none of that shit. I'm taking action. Some of that was military, some of it wasn't. Some of it was upbringing, some of it was trauma. So,
Yeah.
it was a lot of different shit. But
Yeah.
you know, but I deal with those things now in a different manner. You know what I'm saying, and on different capacities. So I just thought it was important today to talk about fear because I've been thinking about it all day long because I have these migraine headaches, and I started to have this fear. What if I have a fucking tumor or something that they haven't been able to find because I've had CAT scans and neurologists and everything look at my big ass head, and they say they can't seem to find anything, and these fucking migraines are killing me. And I've been thinking about it a lot lately. Like, man, am I having like mini strokes or some shit, or like, oh, what the fuck is going on? And it's gotten me pretty fearful of some shit. So I thought it was important to talk about fear today. You know,
Hmm.
uh, and it's because when I start to go off on the deep end of thinking like that, I I redirect my thinking to sunsets and mountains. No, no, I really don't. I think about other shit,
It just
but I
keeps
don't think
going
about
back
no
in circles.
sunsets
Here
and
we go
mountains.
again.
She fucked it up for the sunsets and mountains, though. I put it to you that way. But
Oh man.
yeah, but
Well, on the last part of this here, Heat, I'm gonna say, uh, I will say I've given people some uh, some instructions to find a happy place, especially when I'm in the middle of that training. We getting some push-ups in or some reps in. Go to
Yeah.
your happy place because the rest of it's mine.
right, wow,
So I use it again as a tool. Yeah.
word.
Yeah.
So we going on an hour. It's a little longer than I anticipated going today, but let's go on and end this out. OT, last words.
Yes. Face your fears. and take that life one day at a time.
Fair enough. D Nick, sir.
Fear is energy, and you can use it like you can use it positively, or you can use it to be be in control and all of that. Or fear can be negative and turn into a phobia, and then you're out of control and very irrational. You know what I'm saying? So you just have to shift your like OT said. You figure out how you're going to use your tool. I'll say that you figure out how you're going to use this tool because it just is, but you just got to
Right.
figure out where you're placing your energy and how you're using that tool. Blessings.
Word. Well, I'm going to say first and foremost, man, thank both of you guys for coming in and talking about this and listening to my dumbass talk about sunsets and fucking mountains.
No, man,
Uh,
that wasn't on you, man.
huh?
That wasn't on you, bro.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. But I'll say to anybody and everybody that may listen to this later or are listening now, just from my own experience, do your best to conquer your fears. It's not an overnight thing. Shy City Shiva says, "Y'all be easy. I appreciate tuning in. God bless. God bless Shy City Shiva.
Blessings,
We
blessings.
appreciate you.
God bless.
Um, Conquering your fears, I don't think is an overnight thing. I don't think it's a it's like a lifelong thing. I think you're faced with different fears every day, and it's something that uh, you could get a hold of, and you could control it. You could conquer it. You know, just be patient because it's not something that can happen overnight. It takes practice, also memory, as D Nick says. You know what I'm saying?
I even reject the term conquering. I'm with OT about like using it. Like, do you
Right,
conquer it or do you just learn to use it positively?
right. We'll go with that then. Fuck conquering it. Use it. You know what I'm saying? As a tool. You know what I'm saying? Go to a happy place because the rest of that shit belongs to me. Anyways, shout out to you guys. Shout out to OG. Shout out to D Nick. Shout out to Jizzo, man. This has been the check in, man. It's been lovely. It's been beautiful. Once again, man, I love you guys, man. I love you, bro. For real, for real. Thank you so much for jumping
Bless.
in. Thank you for your time. Let's see you motherfuckers next week. Peace, peace.
Yes.
We are out.
Peace.